to this meeting of Mayor and Board of Aldermen. Roll call, Ms. Dolan.
Ms. Moore. Here. Mr. Bradford.
Here.
Mr. James Green.
Here.
Mr. Gary Green.
Present.
Mr. Lott. Mayor, all present. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Let us stand on invocation.
Let us pray. Oh, grateful Father, Lord, we come tonight, Lord, asking you to look upon our city council and our mayor as we make decisions for our community, Lord. Bless each and every person here under the sound of my voice. Lord, to continue to bless the city of Bastrop. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Salute. Flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, that brings us to item number 3. Public comments as they relate to items on the agenda. All right. No comments. Number 4, announcements. Ms. Fuller here? Ms. Janice Fuller?
Oh, I thought you said Ms. Ford.
Okay. I like to recognize people in the community that do outstanding things, and I'm a firm believer we can praise people to success, and we need to always acknowledge the good things that are happening in our community, because that is what really sells and helps to market us and positions us in a stronger place in terms of economics. Ms. Janice Fuller is the owner of Little Ones Daycare Center, and it's with her permission that I say these things. She is a cancer survivor. With faith and perseverance, she maintained her daycare center for 25 years. She gives back to the community by celebrating holidays. Most recently, she had Mother's Day Bash, where she incurs most of the costs. Head Start graduation, where she fed the community at her own expense. And she does the same thing at Christmas time, Halloween, and Thanksgiving. And Ms. Fuller, if you will come. I'm pleased to present this plaque to you, Janice Fuller, owner of Little Ones Daycare Center, in grateful appreciation for your outstanding support and giving back to the community of Bastrop. Thank you. Is there something you would like to say? I have another presentation to make, but before I do that one, let me acknowledge all of our graduates. I think we have all of the graduations behind us for this season. College, high school, Head Start, pre-K. Mr. D. Green, you had a Head Start graduate.
I did, my daughter.
Okay. And it's bad to call names, I don't know of any other employees who have graduates, but we are certainly proud of all of our graduates. And congratulations to you as well for your being selected for Father's Day for your outstanding participation with the Head Start program. Okay. I have a special guest that she's really supposed to be sitting at the table. Taylor Sims. She's on her way. I could bring her to the. That's not her? Oh, okay. Miss Tiara. She's on her way.
She should be here like the next 5-10 minutes.
Next 5, okay, so we'll put a pin in that and come back to it. Mr. Derek Frazier, CEO of the Morehouse General Hospital, is relocating to another state. And I thought this was noteworthy of mentioning and well as archiving. We all share a responsibility to preserve history for the future generations. It charts our growth in this country and the city. Those before us left a footprint, and I think it's incumbent upon each one of us to leave a footprint for those who are coming after us. And I'm going to read this. He is in the process of moving. I spoke with him last night. Bastrop Black History Archive, June the 8th, 2023. First Black CEO of Morehouse General Hospital, Derek Frazier, December 2016 to June 2023. Mr. Frazier is a native of Georgia, holds a master's degree in health services administration. Prior to coming to the city of Bastrop, he worked as CEO at the Homer Memorial Hospital. He was presented with a plaque from the Office of the Mayor at a reception held in his honor in the conference room at Morehouse General Hospital on June 6, 2023. In attendance and wishing him well were hospital staff, friends, and District 8 Council member Angela Moore Tappan, who is also a staff member at the hospital. Mayor Betty Alfred Olive read the plaque and presented it to Mr. Frazier. And it reads as this: presented to Derek Frazier, first Black CEO of Morehouse General Hospital, in appreciation for your dedicated service and leadership in developing a strong strategic plan, creating a legacy of financial stability, and sharing a vision of prosperity and growth. Thank you for your service. A copy of this document is to be archived as a record of Bastrop's history in the June 8, 2023 meeting of the Mayor and Bastrop City Council. Ms. Goldman.
Miss Jackie is out there.
Oh, is she? Thank you. Okay. Ms. Jackie.
Thank you.
Would you come? I have an extra copy. Let me give you the back. Thank you so much for coming. And would you please make sure that Mr. Frazier gets a copy of that? Has our star for the evening arrived yet? Okay, Juneteenth celebration, Dotson Park and Ralph George Park. They have programs, and I believe you have copies of that in your packets. At Wonderful Park, Ralph George, the program is going to begin at 9 a.m. and at Dotson at 12 o'clock. Mr. James Poole offered his services in terms of pulling people in the community together as we fight this war on crime and violence. And he pulled together a committee, and we've been meeting, and we so appreciate his efforts. So we're going to take these opportunities where there are families gathered, where we can speak to safety issues as it relates to the community. So if you are available, if you will attend one of these events, both of them if you desire, and help us in facilitating information in terms of safety. From Chief Reed, we have tips that we have placed in the entranceway. We're planning to get it in schools. We're going to disseminate it in the parks. This fight has to be an ongoing effort every day if we're going to change the trajectory and the outcome of young folks. So I ask that you would join us in facilitating information. Bastrop Chamber of Commerce Annual Legislative Luncheon, June 29th, 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Visitor Center.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you would, please contact Mrs. Lee to confirm so that we can turn in a number to Ms. Ford so that she can give that number to her caterer. There's our storm. Okay, you're seated right there. Okay, Mom, you can come too. This young lady has become a national phenomenon, and we're so proud of you. Your picture went viral, and it was viewed over 1 million times, probably it's doubled by now. And I had a chance to be with her and her mother, Miss Alexa Sims, and it was DeMarcus Green, who was a student at Beekman, that captured that moment, and I'm sure most of you saw that. And it was so endearing and so precious. And we're so proud of you. And because we're proud of you and that poise of elegance that you displayed and how you represented the city of Bastrop, I'm going to give you this certificate. The city of Bastrop presents certificate of recognition on this 8th day of June 2023 to Taylor Sims, representing your 2023 graduating kindergarten class with poise, grace, and elegance, which gained national attention for you, your hometown, and the city of Bastrop, Louisiana. This pin on you, it has a star on it that represents your takes care of item number 4. Do you all have any announcements?
Yeah, I have an announcement. The president for Dixie's League, he's not here because I gave him the wrong information in regards to me. What he wanted to do was, he wanted to thank you, Jesse, and Terry people for having the park ready for this season. Also for the first Loop Rock tournament was a success, and he said that everybody complimented how good the parks were. So I'm just doing this due diligence right now. So I'm just telling you instead of Ashley, he said thank you guys.
Thank you for sharing that, Mr. D. Green. Tell him we appreciate that acknowledgement. Any other district announcements?
Well, I do. The Dotson League's last game will be next Thursday. My twin grandbabies play for PRD. So we excited. It's been a good season. Again, thanks to the mayor and the Parks and Recreation for having our fields ready to play. And Forest Park is in my district. Thanks.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Green.
And to add to Dockin Park, June 10th, Jesse DeVar is trying to build it back up to like having softball tournaments. So this year we're looking to have a nice tournament, and I will be playing.
All right,
Y'all reserve my seat. And I want to say thank you to the Public Works Department. Is Mr. Devon or Terry people here? Anyone of them? I'll pass it on. Yeah, I knew it was vacation. I thought it was coming. That brings us to item number 5. Approved minutes, regular meeting, May 11, 2023, and special meeting, May 25th, 2023. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Properly moved by Mrs. Patton,
Second.
second by Mr. Bradford. Any questions? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item number 6, discussion, action, city civil attorney. In the call meeting we had, I gleaned from that the council is ready to confirm the appointment of Devin Jones as city civil attorney. I'll entertain a motion. Is there a motion? Okay. Item number, there was no motion. Ms. Goldman. Okay.
no motion.
All right. Item number 7, consideration of and action on reports of committees appointed of the governing body. Okay, Finance Committee report. Are there any reports coming out of the Finance Committee report, a meeting?
Mayor, I move for the acceptance of the Finance Committee report.
Okay, Mr. Howard Locke has made a motion. Is there a second? Okay. We'll move on to item number, that's B, planning and zoning. Committee report. Ms. Rogers?
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Debbie Rogers. I'm the president of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Planning and zoning doesn't have anything special to report at this time. We've only had, there's been no special use permits that we've had recently. It's just the items that we've had have just been approved by right, so there's really nothing to report at this time.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Rogers. You're one of the chartered members, and you have been faithful to your calling.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service. Okay, item number 8, that's correct, Ms. Goldman? Reports on city officials, employees required by law or by action of the governing body. Any reports? Okay. Takes it to number 9, action on ordinance and resolutions introduced at previous meetings. Ms. Goldman, there's nothing on that one? Okay, number 10, other unfinished business. Do we have any, Ms. Goldman? Okay. Number 11, introduction of and permitted action on proposed ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 23-4271, an ordinance to authorize an act of sale by the city of Bastrop to sell adjudicated property described as parcel 43001000YY. Okay. Commencing at southeast quarter of the southeast 35-21 5E and run west with line of said section 35-1562.58 feet. The run in parcel with same course 183.86 feet to the northwest quarter of Rosina. White, second purchase from Daisy Thornton with the north line of Rosina White's second purchase of 186.3 feet. Section 18, 22, what is that, Ms. Bellman? 22 E, 200.4 feet. The north, 84.
I don't know what DEG means.
Yeah, DEG, I haven't seen that. I've been in Rotary for 30 years.
Here says degree.
Degree, okay. West, 74.8. The west, 75 feet to the point of beginning contiguous 0.90 ACM ML and being in the west 1/2 of the southeast 1/4 of the southeast 35-21 5E in accordance with Louisiana Revised Statute 47-2202. Okay, and to authorize the mayor of Bastrop to sign all necessary documents and to address other matters relative thereto. Introduction. Ms. Goldman, you want to speak to anything on that?
Yes, ma'am. Somebody had contacted us. They live close by there. It's a property located at 1426 Rosina. They were interested in buying it, so it's adjudicated property to the city, and it's been adjudicated since 2013. So they want the city to consider to advertise for bids so they can bid on it and buy it. And that's what we're asking y'all to consider to do that.
Okay. This is what you, yes, sir, Mr. Brack.
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question. On the adjudicated property, I see it listed at $1,600. In the language, can we stipulate that they buy this property? They I don't know what's the condition it is right now. Is it boarded up or what's the condition? We don't want people to buy property and just leave it there in the same situation. I hope they're buying it to make an improvement.
Yes, sir.
And I think we need to stipulate in this agreement that they're obligated to make it approved, we won't sell it to them. I mean, we look like we taking off our hands, true enough, but the hand we put it in, we wanna make sure they are willing to maybe do the right thing and improve the property. I mean, we don't want to sit there and continue to be a sore eye in the community. I think that maybe attorneys can advise us on how to word that, to that effect.
Okay. Are there any other comments, ideas? Okay. Noted. Okay, this is for introduction, requires no action tonight. Item number 12, other new business. Resolution 23-2040, a resolution of the mayor and board of alderpersons of the city of Bastrop, Louisiana, a city to authorize the city to enter into an intergovernmental agency agreement with Bastrop Fire Protection District Number 2. Ms. Goldman, welcome.
Yes,
Just
sir.
if y'all have any
This is,
questions.
Okay.
you wanna go ahead?
Okay, this is a 2-year agreement, it renews every 2 years, it's been in place, I think, since 1989 or 90, so it renews every 2 years. It's got all the terms, for which we provide employees, for the 2 outside fire stations, in the district. Contract, and don't require any changes. They pay all the costs for every employee, for the station, fire trucks, any expense that it takes for those 2 fire stations or the employees is covered in the contract.
Okay, thank you, Chief Williams. Ms. Goldman, anything you wanted to add to that?
No, ma'am, he did a wonderful job.
Okay.
I have one question.
Ms. Tappan?
So Chief, these employees at the outside fire districts, they are not per se your employees, not the people you hire?
Oh, yeah, they're city employees,
Okay.
yes.
Because I know we're talking about the country.
They reimburse us, yes, to man those stations. And we provide the same fire protection for them as we would inside the city limits.
So how does that?
And it works
affect them?
together. If we have a fire inside the city limits, we rely on them to come in here and with manpower. When we go out, we send, manpower out. We always leave one, the best we can, we always leave one inside the city to protect the city. And it works hand in hand with our fire rangers. We get credit for their employees, their equipment, they get credit for ours. But we're 2 separate entities.
Yes, sir. Mr. Bradley?
If I'm understanding you right, Chief, that won't have any effect on our manpower at all?
Oh, yeah, it would, yeah. If we didn't have them, absolutely it would.
I'm sorry, I didn't you.
I said absolutely it would, yes,
Okay, well, are you saying, I know that we're kind of short of manpower,
right.
and I was just wondering, what they're paying, would that help increase the salary for you, for the current manpower? I mean, that's
So the
what's a
contract,
benefit to us?
the contract states if there's any changes in salaries and benefits, they have to increase whatever the cost is. Yes,
Thank you, Chief.
absolutely.
At this time, I will entertain a motion on resolution 23-2040.
I make the motion to accept the resolution.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any questions? Discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Chief Williams. Let me go back. Did I mention your job fair, Ms. Kay King? Is Ms. Kay King?
No, I was passing out flyers a little while ago. You wanted me to talk a little bit?
Okay, if you'll come to the microphone, and your job fair.
I know that it's been on Facebook, and I appreciate that I believe the mayor, I think you've had it on Facebook, and it's being distributed. We're getting a lot of hits on this. Vicki Carpenter, who's always so good at helping me, she's been helping me get this thing out on Facebook. I was told that 80% of the people that came to a recent job fair came through Facebook and social media. So it is on next Tuesday. We'll start at 9 o'clock in the morning. We'll end at 5 o'clock that afternoon. We'll set up, and I appreciate the city letting us use the municipal center. This is gonna be very similar to the job fair we did for Primoris when we did the solar, except that we're gonna have a lot of different companies in there. But we'll have them distributed in next Tuesday. So I got a couple more flyers if somebody wants to take one to their church.
Anybody need any card?
I'll help you guys.
You need to
I'll
get
take it, I'll take it.
Okay, if you, give them to Ms. Goldman, she can make some copies and that will be,
I got it.
yeah, give one. Okay, thank you, Mr. Green.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and the fire department and the police department are gonna be there, which is very important. So we're gonna try to get some applicants in there for that.
Okay, thank you. And I apologize for overlooking that. I had that on my announcement list. Okay, C, discussion, action, permission to advertise for bid on Morehouse Memorial Airport runway taxiway. E, which one did I miss? Did I miss? Oh, okay. Discussion, action, hold up, Brent. Discussion, action, permission to advertise for bids on fiscal year LCDBG, sewer grant. Ms. Golden.
So, Mayor, this is the sewer, project that we've got on the Unity area. They're replacing, that bad section of the sewer, and it's, we was granted almost $1 million, I think. So they've got, the engineers has got it ready, they've smoke tested, they know where the problems are, areas are, and they're ready to, advertise for bids. Once we do that, we'll come back to y'all to award the bids.
Okay.
So, we're
Thank
ready.
you. All right, it's been a long time coming, and trust that, and the state, it takes so long, but we trust that we will find out what the culprit is with some of the water that's backing up by this improvement. Okay, that brings us to,
Yeah, they need to make a
oh,
motion.
discussion action. Okay, at this time, I will entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we, contract that, sewer treatment out, on Union Street, please.
Okay, properly moved. And second, any questions? Discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Now, I at C. Discussion, permission to advertise for bids on Morehouse Memorial Airport runway taxiway grant. Randy Elton.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So what we're wanting to do is advertise for bids for the work that we're gonna be doing on the runway and taxiway at the airport. It's gonna be, on a full meal patch overlay, both the runway and taxiway. And we're gonna pay for this through grants that we receive from the FAA and the state. So we're looking at about 90% FAA funding and 10% state. It'll be a zero cost project to the city.
Won't cost the city at all.
It's about 2.5 million. It's what
Won't cost the city at all.
No, sir, won't cost the city at all.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Properly moved by Mr. Locke.
Second.
And second by, I believe I heard Mr. Bradford first, and then Mr. D. Green.
He can have it.
He can have it? Okay. Mr. D. Green just gave you your early Christmas present. Item D, discussion. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, D, discussion resolution 22-1993, a memorandum of understanding between the city of Bastrop and the Morehouse Sheriff's Department. Okay, in the meeting that, the call meeting, I believe it was my understanding that you wanted this item on the agenda for discussion.
We discussed it at the last meeting, right?
Yes, that's correct, Mr. D. Green.
Sorry.
That's on item D, number 12.
Memorandum, yeah, we was, on the memorandum we had with the Morehouse Parish Sheriff Department, there was some concerns about some of the language as well, the agreement itself. I really feel that we could take action tonight, and we already discussed it, that we do not enter into agreement after June 30th of this year with the Mohawk Parish Sheriff Department. If our chief is here, chief still here?
We have an assistant chief.
Chief still? Chief.
Well, wait just a minute. Go ahead with your point.
Chief, would you come to the mic?
Wait,
Oh,
the mayor is directed to the.
okay, excuse me, but would you get
Go
the chief
ahead
to the
and
mic?
make your point, then as he comes.
Okay, as we were saying, the chief, on this memorandum, I know the chief's signature do not appear on it. I like to state tonight on the record that the chief runs the police department here for the city of Bastrop. He's the chief officer of the police department. The chief should be able to give us a study of what he would like for his police department to appear like. I mean, I want him to dream a little bit. I want you to tell this councilman, this councilman, how do you picture your police department to be, where you can be in good standing with all the requirements that law enforcement require? What are your dreams? How many shifts do you feel you need? You know, before we get out of this dream, because we can no longer continue to go this route, because you'll never be able to get a police department with some of the language I see in this memorandum. And I'd like for you to tell the board, how do you feel? What does it take for the chief Reed to say, I'm feel comfortable, I feel that my citizens are safe here in the city of Bastrop, and we're willing to, I can speak for myself, I'm sure the council will, to provide whatever you need. I know you're talking about recruits, but how much? I mean, what do we come in? What dollar figure do we need? But we can say, because the budget's coming up, we want to be able to put in the budget where you can function according to what you feel comfortable, according to law, and we all as citizens of Bastrop feel safe. And I'd like for you to maybe just address some of those issues, because you're the chief of police.
Right.
Okay.
And I want you to understand that you have our confidence as the council, that you don't feel your job being threatened by anyone else. We want to see your ability, what you know about law enforcement, to make us safe. Go ahead, Chief.
Okay, let me say this, let me say this. This one is a precursor to something Mrs. Tappan requested about this study. So we put our heads together and we are looking at a PowerPoint presentation to meet with each one of you individually, because we certainly want to be within the confines of the law. We budgeted for 31 slots, correct?
That's correct.
That's the capacity. So we have actually been operating at less than full capacity. And then when we drop below that, that put us in an awkward situation in terms of safety. Okay, Chief Reed, go ahead.
The minimum standard that we can operate with is 3 officers a shift. And we need 4 shifts of 3 officers to be able to operate 24/7. Right now we have 8 on patrol. Actually 7, the latest one is just been released from the academy. So we have 7 patrolmen that are actually working. That other one will be released after she goes through her training. We need at least 4 more officers hired for us to be able to get back to 24/7 protection. Now, as far as the wage part is concerned, I'll say it like the one said before me. In order for us to compete with any of these departments around here, there's a minimum of at least $17.50 an hour. But that's out of my control. I'm just speaking what the bare minimum is that will bring us up to the point to where we can compete with the surrounding agencies.
Let's let Mr. D. Green put it.
So you said $17.50, Chief? Yes. That was to compete with other ones. In order to compete with Monroe, West Monroe, Ruston, the surrounding agencies. And
And it's still not what they're paying, they're still paying more, but a minimum of $17.50 would put us in the range where we can compete better with them.
Do like working like something like with a signing bonus, have to work so many years, would they work, would they help?
It just depends how you set it up. You know, Monroe had a signing bonus over there, and I talked to some people who were hired there, and once they got into it, they found out that they couldn't get all of the money all at once. They only got a certain portion of it, and then they had to work a certain amount of time before they could get the rest of it. So it just depends on how you set it up to give it to them.
So right now, starting off, how much are we paying our officers coming out the door?
Coming out of the door, they're making, I believe it's $13.12 an hour. That's without their state pay. When the state pay is added, it goes up like $2 and something.
I'm saying, I know you don't have the numbers like right offhand, but if you had to guesstimate, like how much would,
Ms. Go, I'd rather her give exact information than to guess, Mr. Green. So let's give her time to.
Clarify just one thing, so I.
Go ahead.
Is that $17.50 is starting pay at the bottom?
Yes.
See, it's the rank goes up, so I would.
yeah, I want her to get an exact amount as well. The reason I was gonna ask you, because, you know, as of right now, but last month alone, roughly we paid the sheriff department $60,000. I mean, $58,000, and like the voice person word, it's probably not $13 an hour. That's a couple police officers' salary for the year.
Mr. Green, Mr. J. Green.
Okay, he said about a study. He just gave you us a study. He said it's 31 slots, and we understaffed, and he just told you solution to it. We way underpaid. $17.50 is kind of what the going rate is. So we down to $13.50. That's your study right there. He's chief of police. He knows what his department needs, and we losing officers because of the pay, the starting rate. That is the study. That is the bottom line. We're gonna have to find a creative way to raise the salaries of the police department. That's just it.
Hey, Chief, one more question.
Mr.
I'm sorry.
D. Green.
So do you know how much the starting pay for the Marshall Sheriff Department coming out the door?
You know, I had those figures, but I believe it's maybe about 75 cents to $1 more than us. Starting.
I know salaries are very concerned, hiring and firing, getting people to work. But I have another concern is that, a couple of concerns. Why can't we, to make the shift, I'm trying to understand the shift for that, why can't we're paying $42 an hour to some of the sheriff people to come in. Can't you offer some overtime to some of our current officers that is hired right now? I know they probably some people would love to get some overtime. We could use what we have to go ahead and do away with this memorandum. Because let me share something about this memorandum term of duration. This agreement should be effective for March 28, 22 through June 30 of 22. That's way past a year ago, until the Bastrop Police Department reach a sufficient number of patrol officers and adequate patrol whatever occur first. Now, with those rates, we're paying $42 an hour. We'll never be able to reach our goal of paying $17 an hour because otherwise they're putting us in the hole. I guess I'm trying to say, can we use what we have by June 30th? We're not going to do anything until we get a budget. It used to be to how you get what you feel that's adequate for a budget, what you feel comfortable as chief of police in charge of the city of Bastrop and making, using some of the officers you have. I know you're going to be some calling in sick, some calling in on vacation. That's normal in the job structure. But I would appreciate if you would really consider looking at what we have, meeting with your staff, and asking them, look, I need you now. I know somebody might have to set a vacation back for a moment. Work with your people to make sure. I'm sure they're proud officers, and I know they'll feel better making this overtime instead of paying some other department or some other agency or $42 an hour, and they make it in weeks.
We have to have the numbers, Mr. President.
But that's what I'm asking, talk with your staff.
Can I say something? Right now,
One at a time.
right now,
Mr. Green,
Yeah, because I think,
did you get that? Oh, wait, just a minute, Mr. Green. Go ahead.
we have 7 officers. These 7 officers are averaging over 26 hours, 30 hours pay period. Any much more overtime than that, they're not gonna have no time off. They have to have their vacations, they have other things that they have to do on their off days. We're doing the best we can with what we have.
Well, I'm not saying you're not doing the best we can. Ask for a little more, chief. Ask for an extra mile. We're at a crisis. That's what I'm saying. I understand.
The reason that we went to this,
Okay, wait just a minute.
Assistant Chief Richard.
Wait just a minute, Mr. Page. You
yeah,
had a question?
well, I had a more of a statement,
Mr. Green.
because I think that the reason that we went from the help of the sheriff department is because our numbers is low for as police officers, because requiring them to, we gotta, see how they feel about working so many hours, but
The
what
reason
we
we-
can't do as, hold on, Mr. Page, give me 1 second. What we can't do as a council body to work on raising the pay up, this key. Like, try to get them to work, break their backs to work, I don't think that's fair to them. We need to work on raising the pay, trying to raise the pay starting off, and then work on giving the other police officers raises that's been there prior to this situation over the years. Take care of our police department in other words, that's what we need.
Okay, Mr. J. Green, you have something? Excuse me?
I have one.
Mrs. Tappan?
And I know we talked to the chief about, my suggestion was using 2 officers per shift. At first you said 8 officers, that would be 2 of our officers per shift filling with the sheriff department deputy. If that is not feasible right now, can we operate 2 full-time shifts at least? At least.
We are operating 2 full-time.
I'm talking about a day and a night, 24-hour coverage.
We don't have the numbers to do it.
Well, I'm gonna go back to my suggestion, 2 officers per shift, filling with the deputy, because I'm gonna be honest, if they are making overtime makes people want to work an extra shift, whether it's day or night. They will not refuse that $42 an hour for the $42 an hour officer. They will still want to come in, they're not gonna decline to work.
Yeah, Ms. Anthony, they'll love to work overtime. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mr.
They'll love to work overtime as needed, but requiring them to do it all the time, we
Oh, no, I'm talking about the deputy.
Here we go.
I'm talking about the deputy.
Oh, the deputies.
Yeah, I'm not talking about our people, I'm talking about the deputy.
I think the problem is
Mr. J. Green.
the problem is manpower. We don't, chief is saying we don't actually have the manpower. And if you put an artificial date on it, if you say June 30th, January 30th, you put a date on it, you don't want to alienate the sheriff, because you're actually doing us a favor by keeping all of us safe. Well, he's doing
One
a
at a
service.
time.
He's doing us a service. He's doing a service for the community. What I'm saying is, we gotta get our house in order before we decide to cut them off. You can't cut them off and don't have a plan. You gotta get an action plan, and then you can cut them off. But Chief is saying right now that he don't have the manpower. Chief is saying.
None of the microphones are working except for this tablet. So could you have everybody speaking to the mic?
Wait just a minute. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to use his mic.
Okay, well, I was saying is,
Did you finish, Mr.?
I did.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. J. Green.
the point I was making, it's vital that we get our police department up to par. Problem is pay. Until you solve the pay problem, this problem is gonna keep going on and on and on. But what I was saying is, we got some safety right now. You got a mechanism in place with the sheriff department to come in and subsidize manpower right now. You don't wanna say, okay, this date, we're gonna stop, and we don't have the police officers to patrol.
That's right.
If you just say, we gonna kick y'all out on the 30th, and you don't have an action plan, it's up to, we gotta have the manpower before we stop them. Our goal is to, hey, be self-sustainable, to do our things ourselves, but right now, we don't have the manpower, and we see the problem. The problem is pay. You make it whatever, and you can go to the water company and make $15 an hour, and you risking your life for $13 an hour. That don't add up. So we as a community, as leaders, we gotta come up with a plan to solve this problem. We are the leaders, so, and Chief, we ask you respectfully, give us some numbers so we can get it up, because the budget is coming up. Because there's no such thing, if you can do anything else with throughout the city, you can create other jobs or do any other things. I'm sure that we can find the resources to give our officers a raise.
Okay, Mr. Bradford?
Chief, I just want to elaborate one more. I agree with you, Mr. Green, we need to have something in place.
They can't hear you, Mr. Bradford.
I agree, Mr. Green, that we should have something in play. And the chief, let's go back to the chief again, chief officer. That's his responsibility, not the council. He presented to the council. If he's the qualified chief, he can get this officer up and running in 15 days. That's why I said June 30. We no longer can kick this along the road. If the city approved high wages, $17 an hour, I think you said, and you can use your people for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or maybe a month, and the sheriff department, believe it or not, they have an obligation to patrol. And they can't sit down on East Madison and watch cars go by and call themselves patrolling. They need to be over on West Madison. And as chief officer, we need a person to take that position. And I be the ones you dream and use your ability, what you have in law enforcement, you can do it in 2 weeks. You may not be able to hire other officers, you may not be able to give them raises, but you use what you have. We can do more with less. That's what the preacher say now. I'm preaching now. But we can do more with that. And we got to take that approach to do more with that. We can no longer stay under this agreement until we get up and continue to pay $60,000 a month for them to sit out on East Madison. At 7:30, they eating at Burger King. I'm watching. Okay, now, we need you, Chief. We need you. We're depending on you and you alone to make this happen. And you can do it in 15 days. You can use what you have. Because I say I can't approve your budget, I don't know about nobody else. I won't vote for your budget to continue to pay the sheriff department $69,000 a month. Because you'll never get out that hole, and you'll never be able to get anybody a raise. Let's face reality, let's be truthful about this. It all sounds good, but we have to sometimes tighten ourselves up.
Hey,
we got to do more with less.
As far as the money is concerned, the ball is in you all's hands.
We'll get you the money.
Can I respectfully, my assistant wanted to address the mayor and the council. Could he please address y'all for 1 second?
Just a minute. Stay there, Assistant Chief. Hey, you had something else you wanted to say?
Well, I understand Mr. Bradford's frustration for us, like, we paying the sheriff department all this money, and then here we are with our own department, don't want to take care of them. So at this point, we try to come together with a solution to take care of our police department. That's where we at.
Okay. Any other comments before Assistant Chief?
I agree with Mr. Green. Said it all.
Okay. I did mention, yes, sir. Oh, go ahead, and I'll summarize and then we'll wrap this one
I
up.
think a little clarity needs to be brought on the topic of stepping up, okay? We're in this predicament, and we're using the sheriff's department because for 4 months, we were averaging between 126 to 140 hours of overtime per check. That is unsustainable.
How many hours did it?
Between 120 to 140 hours per pay period per officer.
140 overtime hours for one officer?
That's how many hours we were working.
In 2 weeks?
In 2 weeks. We were working 14 days straight, 12 hours at a time. We had some that would have to stay over and work 16 hours a day. Yeah, that's unsustainable. You can't operate machinery. You can't make decisions. You shouldn't be carrying a gun, okay? We're not going to go back to that. You will lose what few officers you have left.
I don't think we were suggesting.
Wait, just a minute, one at a time. Ms. Tappan?
I don't think we were suggesting that.
Yeah, but it scares, I've listened to them all. The chief runs it, I run patrol. These are my men and women, okay? My job is to take care of them, okay? We cannot go back to what we were. It's not, it's not feasible.
That wasn't the suggestion.
You're on the right.
You're
You're absolutely correct that pay is one of the reasons that we are in the situation we're in. Now, we've had, since I've become assistant chief, we've had 4 people come and show interest in the job until we give them the starting pay. And we never hear from them again. Okay? Our guys, they do the best they can. I'm very proud of all of them.
Me too.
The things that are being asked of them are extraordinary. And, you know, we're going to have to do something. You know what the answer is.
Hey.
But it's not going to be a quick process. It takes between a month to 2 months to hire an officer. You can't just hire someone off the street. They have to pass background checks. They have to pass psychological tests. They have to go through a whole battery of testing to make sure that they're suitable to do the job. And then, if they're not some old hand being recycled from another department, they've got to go to the academy. That's another 4 months. And then you have to train them. Once they get through the academy, it's a 4-month training program.
Hey Chief,
Yes.
how long did they have to work 120 hours, if you have to say like 4 months ago?
About 3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 months, okay. Starting out police officer make $13 an hour. Overtime, that means it'll be like $19.50.
That's correct.
So a year at that rate would be $56,160, and we paying that for 1 month for police and sheriff department. So what we trying to do now is we trying to help you guys out by raising up the starting pay. Because even one police officer a year, we paying that salary for 1 month.
I just don't want the issue of what needs to happen to get clouded with ideas that aren't feasible. Okay, we can talk about stuff till the cows come home, but the fact of the matter is right now, we don't have a choice but to use the sheriff's department. We don't have the people. 2 people is not going to happen. That's very dangerous.
No, I was not suggesting I need 2 people on the ship. That was not my suggestion.
No, you suggested with
the sheriff, yes, filling in for the 3rd man.
We not to, I won't throw stones at another department, but we trust ourselves, if that makes sense. Well, we're trained different than a deputy is. Okay, so we would like to be back where we were. We're prideful. It hurts us. It hurts our pride, whether it's a man or a woman in their uniform. It hurts your pride if you go home at 6 and know somebody else takes over for what you're supposed to be doing. But also, we don't want to die.
Right.
You know, we have families, you know. My wife told me retire. Okay? You know, 3 months of 120 hours overtime. My wife said, you married to me or you married to the city of Bastrop? You know? So that's what we were all looking at. young, middle-aged, old, didn't matter the age of the officer, we were sacrificed. And we're not allowed to toot our own horns. You know, we're public servants. We're not allowed to talk about our job. We're not allowed to talk about what we go through. Okay? But y'all are paying me to let you know what my guys are going through. You know? And they went through a lot. And I don't want to see them end up like that again. It's, you know, it's a safety thing. It's a safety thing. So, y'all do what y'all need to do, and we'll do what we keep on doing. We'll keep on rolling. Okay?
Stay there, please. We're gonna wrap this up in a.
I think everybody's on the same accord. I think everybody wants the police department to get up and go. And I think it's more, she had a good idea, but I understand what your concerns are. But the sheriff has actually showed us a roadmap. He just showed us if we can pay him $58,000 a month, there's no reason that you can't up the police pay. He done gave you a roadmap. He's saying the money is there. The funds are there. But you pay him. There's no such thing as you don't have the money. You have it. And we just gotta muster the determination to go do it. Because I'll give you an example. If you do not get the police department up and going after 6 o'clock, you're going to continue to pay the sheriff department over $50,000 every month, because it's going to be it's temporary, but it's permanent. Because every time you shut down at 6, you're going to have to rely on them. So you might as well get your own house in order, raise the pay up, and let us do it ourselves.
Okay, Mr. Locke, did I hear something from you?
No, I'm just saying you have to have the personnel in order to get this done. That's what I mean, the sheriff, police department, yeah.
Well, that's what he's saying. He says the problem is pay. We know he's on the staff right now. He's saying he's never going to get up to staff if you don't up the pay. The problem is the pay. That's the big elephant in the room. Pay. Money. We know he understands. He just said you don't have 8 officers, 8 police officers, 7.
We got 7 working.
And you got 31 slots. What that tell you?
Right.
Okay, Mr. Bradford, and move on to the next.
You said that was your office, and you make a decision. That's great to know. How many academies within the region have you inquired about police officers in the last 6 months?
We inquire.
How many academies? First, tell me how many academies you have. I think Monroe have academies. Tell me how many academies in this region. That's my question.
We have 3 in this region, and we have some down south as well.
Okay, in this region, let's stay here in our region, because we'll never compete with down south salary. In this region, when the last time you inquired, I guess that's my question. About officers, you attempt to recruit someone from these academies. I mean, several academies. We got 3 academies in this district. You just said. I need to know when you made your last request for officers, other than putting a flyer on Facebook.
So, academies vary from state to state. In Texas, an individual has the personal right to pay and attend the police academy on their own. In Louisiana, they do not. In Louisiana, the only way to attend a police academy is to have been hired by an agency who sends the recruit to the academy. They are an employee of that agency. No agency is allowed to go to the academy and stand out in front of it and try to steal another agency's employee. It's one, it would be an ethics violation, and 2, it could be illegal. To go to the academy, the agency has to hire this individual. Okay? Once hired, then the academy has specific dates it operates throughout the year. Like North Delta in Washita Parish runs 2 academies a year. Bossier City Academy runs 2 academies a year. And Alexandria has an academy. They also run it 2 times a year. So if you hire someone, say you hire them in February, the January academies already began. It won't be till August before the second academy starts for that physical year. You know, so we've actually tried to hire people just to get them on the payroll so that they wouldn't go somewhere else before the academy start. You know, because if you tell someone you've got to wait 5 months before we can hire you, you're going to find a job because everybody needs a job, you know. So I understand your question, and in another state, that would be a viable option for a department would be to get a list from, but what we do is we get a list of everyone who's took the civil service test. And we do that on a monthly basis. And we call everyone on that list no matter where they are in the state. And usually they're like, yeah, I'm looking for a job. How much y'all pay? And that's pretty much where it stops there. But we do that. We check it once a month. We go through the civil service test scores because all that's done online now. We go through, we call, are you interested? Have you gotten a job? Did you know, were you hired? Let us tell you what we have, you know. But I understand what you're saying. If we were in Texas, we could go to the academies and recruit, but we can't do that in Louisiana.
Okay, Chief, I want to thank you for the information because I'm running as well, okay?
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate you. And I can sure if you can get us a budget at $17 an hour, $17.50, whatever you say, and that would make us competitive. I'm sure this council is listening, and all you got to do is our budget's coming up next week, well, a couple of weeks, and we hope you all can give us something that we can put in the budget for you all to be able to do that. And when you put in your request at the academy, someone take a bite. Thank you for your service. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. J. Green, D. Green, y'all, put badges on y'all.
I wait till Chief comes.
Okay. Your points are all well taken, and there are a lot of moving parts. It's good to be heard and hear all the concerns. There are also constraints. And we are already looking at, Ms. Jones, please don't leave just yet. Don't leave just yet. Okay. We are already looking at how we can adjust the pay to be more competitive. We've had a meeting on it, and I still think that that PowerPoint presentation will shed a lot of light. We'll make appointments, schedule time. If you can spare 15 minutes of your time and listen to the things that have to take place in order to make these salary adjustments. Because you gotta look at the FICA, you gotta look at when you increase the hourly rate, then when it runs into overtime, how that affects the budget. And I know that that number, $60,000, that seems huge. But again, we go back to the slots that were budgeted, and we were operating at only 50% of what we could, and then we fell below that, which put us in an awkward situation. But we will get with you when we have that PowerPoint presentation ready. And then we talk about the sheriff's department. You know, that's a political subdivision, and we have a memorandum of understanding, but it's not a unilateral. We have to take in consideration his staff, his people, how they feel. And quite frankly, some of them are exhausted. And it's just only so much work that you can give a person a job for 8 hours, but you're not going to get more out of that person than 8 hours of work. And with our officers, we want to make sure they're safe, and I care about, just as I believe the it's a shared sentiment among us. So I'm gonna ask all of our officers, radio dispatcher, just stand up.
Mayor, can I say something?
This is our time to say thank you for your service. And we are looking for ways to adjust the pay. Now, adjusting the pay, that addresses one area, but we still have the compliance issue with the civil service. And there are some things we just can't put our foot on and accelerate at a faster pace. Thank you, officers. I appreciate the job that you do, putting your lives on the line. Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight.
Okay, I was just gonna say that, can myself and another councilman, along with you, crunch numbers that'll be more competitive, starting off, and for our older police officers to get them a potential raise as well.
Okay. Let us stay within the way we have to act from an administrative level, because I don't want to put you in an awkward situation to have to vote on a budget and you've done other things in terms of that. So Ms. Goldman will crunch the numbers as you. Ms. Goldman, we're going to have that time with you where you can sit down and we can talk, and she'll crunch the numbers because she has to take in consideration all the other moving parts. Okay? We'd be glad to have you share your ideas. Okay? Fair enough? Thank you, Mr. Green. Okay, I think our time is far spent on that issue. Takes us to item E, discussion and.
We just did in here.
Yeah, we did.
We did E? Well, okay, I don't think so. Because I remember I said it was, it probably was covered. Okay. But let me say this, Ms. Tappan, in that last call meeting, talked about a consultant to study the police department. Mr. Green, you said there she studied. Well, there we have to, not you, Mr. J. Green, we have to take all things under consideration. So it's just not just a quick, easy fix. I would not want to ever mislead anybody to think that you can just fix it like that. Now, the study that Mrs. Tappan referred to, I've spoken to another state agency who can come in and take a look at some things and at no charge and make some suggestions to us, and possibly we can get that agency to come in and we will have more information when we meet with you one-on-one and doing a study on how to get our department back where we want. But we don't want to send a message to the public that you are unprotected. That's not so. That's our responsibility, is to make sure the community is safe. So, yes, sir, Mr. Locke.
When you have that consultant, can one or two of the council members be available to sit in on that meeting?
Sure, we can arrange, and preferably one at a time. Preferably one.
Yeah, and also,
Mr. Green?
and doing that study, which our chief already told us, the roadmap, gave us a roadmap. Are you gonna include that study that we paying $58,000 a month to the sheriff? Can you see, is that sustainable? If we're gonna have a study, let's have a comprehensive study. Let's look at it from all angles.
Sure, absolutely, we do need to look at it from all angles, and included in that angle is public safety, and the stakes are high for any one of us would not want to feel at any given time that because of a decision that we made that somebody is unprotected. We'll take all things under consideration.
Public safety.
It's another state agency. It's another state agency, and I don't want to call that name out at this point in time in a public meeting until that's solidified. Okay, Mr. Brown.
I'm sorry, Mayor, I just want to emphasize on free. We're paying $59,000 on that started off free with the sheriff department agent. We recall, before you take from Channel 8 News, that the sheriff department, you don't call me correct, but that the sheriff department was furnished to help us and assist us in good health and everything free. Now, on down the road, we find out it's not free. Now, let's be clearly on the record tonight that this is going to be free. Free. F-R-E-E. Because we started off with free sheriff department assistant. And it first started off, go back and report Channel 8 News. I'm going to do this on goodwill, and I'm here on good citizens to protect the people of the city. Now we start receiving invoices. Free means free. I just want to go to the record. This agency, I'm all for consulting, but if we're going to pay a consultant, we already know the solution. We need to pay police officers more money.
Okay.
And I come in a higher rate. I don't want free to turn it to $59,000 a month. Consultant. I just want to go to the record because I do remember how it worked. We started off free with the sheriff department.
I don't want to cite the news station as
I'm citing you on the news station.
As I would just mention, the news station and what they report. I can remember on occasion I had to call them 3 times to correct something. But what I just said was another state agency, Mr. Bradford. So I want to make that clear. Go ahead, Mr. J. Green. We're gonna move on to.
I'm glad you made a point a few seconds ago. You said public safety. We concerned about public safety. Then you want to do a study. We want to make sure this study ain't being done to say that we can't do it. What I'm saying is, you say public safety. Are we gonna let a price tag of $17.50 hinder us from doing what we should do? You just stated about public safety. We're in a crisis right now. We don't have 8 officers, and he's told us what we got to do to get it up. So we so concerned about public safety. Let's go ahead and try to do it. I'm listening to the conversations. We got to make sure this, we got to make sure that. But we didn't make sure nothing when we gave $58,000 a month to the sheriff department. So if we can do that, let's just come to some kind of thing and let's go analyze the numbers fairly and do what's right by the citizens of Bastrop. And they telling you what the problem is. We are below the average when it comes to starting wages. So we're going to have to rectify that problem. That's your study, period.
Any other comments? Okay, let's move on to April Hill.
She's gonna be right back.
She just had to go to the bathroom. If you want me to go to the next, we can go to the next one.
Excuse me?
She goes to the restroom.
I'm her mother. She just had to step out and go to the restroom. So if you want to go to you need to go to the other,
Okay.
go to the next one.
Ms. Vicky Carpenter, May Madness.
My name is Vicki Carpenter, and I'm here on behalf of the Morehouse May Madness organizers. We would like to do the festival again, and we need your approval. And we'd like to have your approval for 3 months, for 3 years, if that's possible. This police jury has already granted us 3 years approval, and I think things are going well. We're open to your suggestions, but we've had some learning experiences, but we never had done this before when we started out. So we're learning, but I think we've been very successful. We see lots of grins and smiles, and respectfully, we'd like to ask your approval for 3 years.
Thank you. Did you have anything else?
No?
Okay.
Can you grant me the 3 years?
I think asking this board of aldermen and the mayor to grant something that we're already in support of, right? We all should. We all enjoy May Madness, but to grant something beyond our own election time. 3 years takes us past our time in office, which the configuration could change. But I believe that you have the support of this council, correct? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Bradford?
I'd like to just go ahead and make a motion for the record. I believe in records, that we do grant some time period for the May Madness, bring money into our community. I mean, it's been very successful. I watch it, take place. Let's let them, as the police jury did, and the next administration, after we voted out, after we voted out, want to change it, that'd be up to them. But it's not to grant a request. I like to make a motion that we do grant a request, and we have to amend it in 2 years from now, in a new administration. We got 2 years left, and we ought to do it for 2 instead of 3. At least they have something to work with. They can let their business and everybody know that we're involved and we've been approved. And I think that's a positive plus for May Madness, because it do bring revenues. I watched it for the last couple of years, bring revenues into this community, and we need more things like May Madness and Bastrop. We got to bring people to Bastrop and spend dollars in our community. And I like to make a motion, if I get a second, that we need to give them 2 years.
It's not on the agenda to vote on, so
next month?
The agenda would have to be expanded in order to include this on the agenda, because it's not on there as something to take action on. Ms. Carpenter was making a request.
We'll do it at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
I gotta make a motion to spend the.
Yeah, because it's not on there.
New business next month.
Can you expand the agenda?
Yeah, at the end of the meeting, we'll make the motion. As the mayor allowed, we'll make the motion.
Okay, Ms. April Hill.
Good evening. My apologies for having to step out. My name is April Hill, and I reside at 1309 Martin Luther King South. I'm coming out to speak to y'all regarding fixing Martin Luther King South and Carter Plant Road. When I last spoke with you, you told me that you and Mr. Matthews have not decided on a date. I was trying to see if you all have decided on a date for us all to meet.
A date to what?
For us all to meet and try to discuss fixing the road.
Okay, I've had some conversation with Mr. Matthews. We have not received information from Mr. Messenger.
Okay, when I last went to the police jury meeting, I was told that I had to sign a piece of paper stating that I wanted to find out what part of the road belongs to which entity. Before I started trying to get this road fixed, I went to Jeff Messenger. At that time, he told me that the right side of Peters, across the street, the right side of the road from Peters Alley, all the way down to the stop sign that meets NAF belongs to the parish, and the rest of it belongs to the city.
Okay.
When I called him and I tried to reach out to everybody. I spoke to I called Mr. Mitchell and I called Mr. Matthews. I have not got an answer with over 2 months.
Yes, ma'am.
I called Jeff Messenger May 1st, and he told me that he did get a chance to figure out what part of the road belongs to what entity. But he told me that he could not tell me now because they brought the papers to him to try to figure out what part.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. A few months ago, about 2 months ago, in front of my house, it was a water leak. I called People's Water, and they came out to fix it. When they fixed it, it left a hump. It's not flat, it's not smooth at all. They left a hump, it's in front of my house. After that, my mom, about a month after that, my mom, she came to my house and we was watching TV. And she asked me, she didn't see it, we just in the house watching TV. She asked me what was the noise. She thought it was thundering outside. And I told her that it was actually cars driving down the road.
I'm her mom, and that's true. I live
Excuse
before
me,
her house.
excuse me. Are you finished, Ms. Hill?
No,
Not?
no.
I just want to say I'm her mom, and that was true. She was saying I went to her house. I was at her house.
Would you state your name, please?
My name is Willeen Gay Hill. I live here in Bastrop. I live on the same street with her, 1208 Martin Luther King South. And I was just wanting to say that is true. I was at her house, in her room, and I heard the noise, and I said, well, baby, is it thundering? And she said, no, Mama, that's not thundering, that's the road. The cars was running down the road that way.
Okay, thank you.
Also, she asked me, does it wake me up at night? About 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, it wakes me up throughout the night all the time, because I'm sleeping, I hear it, and it just, and I can only imagine what it does to my neighbors. And so, and it's like, I really don't get no sleep at night. But every time I hear it, it's like, it just wakes me up. I did want to ask, is that the noise that it causes on this road, and it's not only in my house, it's on down the road. I can hear when somebody is traveling down the road by my mama's house, in my house, and I'm inside the house. But I wanted to ask, is that part of like the noise ordinance?
Okay.
I'm looking into detail because when I looked at it, the top of it, it said that if it creates loud, disturbing, unnecessary, or unusual noise, it's supposed to be under that. And it does. I hear buses, I can tell when the bus is coming down the road in my house when it's passing by my mama's house, and I can hear it in my house. I hear the cars down there, all I hear is dun-dun. I could be sitting on my porch in my house, I could be in my backyard, I hear it. So it's like, it messes with the peace with me and my neighbors. It's elderly people, there's a couple elderly people on that road. It messes with the peace with all of us because of the noise. Honestly, I told my mom, I was speaking with her this morning, I said it feel like it messed with my health because I don't get sleep like I'm supposed to. Also, I told my mom when I drive down the road in my father's truck, and then I spoke with y'all about that because that road, and he didn't want to take the time out to call you all because he's busy running around all the time. It made his tailpipe come loose. But when I drive down the road in my father's truck, and it's an 04, it sounds like it's tearing the truck up from the inside. I have a 2019 Dodge vehicle. When I drive down the road, it sounds like it has the same sound. And the sad thing about it, I live on Martin Luther King South, and what I do, I go down Carbon Plant Road to try not to drive down over the tracks, because when you go over there, it's like, and when I go around Carbon Plant Road, it's potholes over there too. I was driving 20 miles per hour coming down Carbon Plant, and I hit, it's a bump, it's in a curve, it's a bump, and it actually threw my father's truck sideways. I don't even drive down the road fast because I'm scared it's gonna tear something up. Yes.
How long have you been dealing with this?
It's been a few years. But I came and spoke with you all about it last year.
If my memory serves me correctly, you had a petition going around. How many people signed it?
495 people. And I'm gonna be honest, a lot of the city workers, they wanted to sign it, but they told me they didn't want to because they didn't want it to interfere with their job.
Because they always fix it, the city always fix that part of the road.
They do, and I'm gonna tell y'all what hurt my feelings the most is because I'm young and I don't know. So I always tell my kids a dumb question is a question I'd ask. I called the parish to see if it was anything else that could be done to the road besides patching it. And the lady told me, she said, my guys are out there patching on the road now. What else is it do you want me to do? I didn't even give her an answer because I wasn't expecting to hear that from somebody that's supposed to be over trying to fix our roads.
Ms. Hill, can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Is your house on the part that's supposed to be the city or the parish?
Mine is on the city part, supposed to be, but
But the
honestly.
parish was patching it?
Yes, ma'am. They did that whole road that day. But the city does it sometimes too, so it confuses me. And I'm supposed to be on the city side, and that's why I went to Jeff Messenger before I tried doing anything. He told me the side that I was on was the city. But when I called him May 1st, he told me that he did find out what part of the road belongs to the city and the parish, but he couldn't tell me any information because he got to go talk to the people at the parish first. But I told him from the beginning, when I first went to him, I told him, I said, look, I'm trying to get these roads fixed. So he knows that I'm the one who, I told him, I said, I'm the reason why they brought the paper to you. But it's just, my kids is the biggest thing. My son, and he's 6 years old. He asks me every day, he said, Mama, when they gonna fix the road? This is what keeping me want to come up here and ask y'all about it. And it makes me think about the other kids. When they travel down that road, if it shakes my son said his head go everywhere, and I drive 10 miles per hour going down the road because I feel so bad. I have to travel it every day from my house to my mama's house. My daughter said that every time we go over the area by Peter's Alley, it pops her neck. So I can only imagine what it does to the kids that's on the school bus. And it's shaking their body up, and being honest, we know our bus drivers, they kind of drive a little fast sometimes. So imagine what that does to our kids' bodies.
Okay, Ms. Hill. Can I get a point of information from Ms. Hill right quick?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Hill, I think what she's trying to say, because I spoke with her earlier, every time she comes up, it's like you tell her to check with the parish, check with the city. But when you go talk to somebody, I don't think her question is what the land is on. She want to know, this is the road. She's not talking about the property. She's going to say, go in the middle of the road, draw a line, and I want you to tell me. That's all she want to know. Where does the city, what does the road end with the city, and what does it begin with the parish? That's all she want to know.
Yes.
And she's not worried about the property lines because you in or out on one side or the other side. But the key question that you can answer is, if you on that road and you fall and hurt yourself in the middle of the road, or if you was gonna get a grant for that road, and they asked us, hey, you got 1 week to tell us where that road, where the parish begin and where the city end, I guarantee you that we'll tell them. So that's unacceptable. This lady, she been coming up here for years. Ever since I've been up, I was up here for a year and a half, and every time she comes up here. So I think what she's trying to say, and she got it right. She's not saying that you fix it. Only thing she want to know is, I need to know where it stopped and where it began, so I know who to talk to. Because right now, okay, the parish, then go over there, police jury, go see the city. No. We need to give her a definitive answer.
Excuse me, okay, let Ms. go.
I don't remember what meeting it was this year, but during the meeting, Ms. Hill come, and y'all instructed us to get it surveyed so we would know where the city limits stop. We immediately cut a purchase order, and I called Jeff Messenger, and I asked him to put a stake so our employees would know where our responsibility was left, and they would know the parish ended. I spoke with him probably around May 1st, because I keep asking if they've seen the stakes there, and I was told they didn't. So I contacted Mr. Messenger, and he said that him and his dad was trying to work that out, and that they would get it. I've not heard back from them, but when I go home, I'll go that way and see if I see a stake. But we've already gave him a PO, and we were willing to pay that for to have that done. I can't say why he hasn't done it, I can just tell you that he told me, him and his dad got together and they were trying to figure it out, because they thought it might have been an agreement with the city and the parish to change that. And that's what he was doing the research, to find out if what is on the recording of the city courthouse was still the right one, and I didn't have an agreement for that. I've dug and dug, so I don't see that happening, so that may be the problem. They was just trying to get clarity of if that was the correct one. So I can call in the morning to see if that's there, but that's where we were.
Let's come back to the, are you finished, Ms. Hill?
I'm kind of just a little bit low. But he did tell me, I called him May 1st, and he told me, he said that he did find out what part of the road belongs to what entity. But his exact words was that he said he cannot tell me because I was not official. He said he would have to speak with you all. He couldn't tell me anymore. But I went to him first to try to find out about it, and he knew I did.
Okay.
The only thing else was, it's two things. The lady at the Student Service Center, she asked me would I read this when I come up here. She said that she had worked at Morehouse Parish Student Service Center at 1607 Martin Luther King South for the past 3 years. Her normal route to work would be to go north and then turn on MLK. Once they began construction on north, she was unable to come and go that way. She would turn down by Morehouse Elementary and then come down MLK. The condition of MLK is horrible. I have a car that rides lower to the ground, and if you have to ride over the potholes, the bottom of my car rubs. Most of the time, you will have to get over in the next lane to miss the worst part of the potholes. But then you have to be extra careful because of traffic coming in the opposite direction. The situation is not safe in either regard. The Student Service Center has employees that are going back and forth to all schools multiple times a day, and it is not always feasible to use now. We also have the Fresh Start Explosion Schoolhouse on our campus, and the buses are back and forth, as well as parents who bring their students for therapy. The condition of Martin Luther King South is not safe. It is causing wear and tear on our tires and vehicles. I have lost a scuff plate because of dragging through the potholes. The street is not conducive to safe driving. I wanted to ask you, because 2018, and I'm just trying to see what is it that can be done. 2018, there was a part of the road that was redid. It was rebuilt from my past mayor. And it's still holding up. I know you all don't have the screen working. Is it any way I can come and show you all on the computer?
No, we spent about 15 minutes on, and
Okay,
actually on the public comments. Public comments by law is to give you as a citizen the freedom to express your comments, but to put the council in a position to answer and have dialogue. We don't have information, we don't have the survey back. So we welcome listening to you, but it's not a session where you go back and forth with a citizen.
I don't think it's the time and legal here.
Well, we do.
That's the right to.
Well, and we spent about 15 to 20 minutes, and if we did that for everybody in this audience, it's about equal protection under the law. If we gave everybody that same opportunity to stand up.
And council got a right to ask for information when she's speaking, because if she talking about,
Okay. Yes. But what I just stated to you, it comes from the Attorney General. That's the Attorney General. The session that I just attended, it comes with what I just said in terms of going back and forth. Citizens' comment is just what it is, to give her a chance to express. Well, usually it's a 3 to 5 minute time. Okay, we've been here for 15 minutes.
Mayor.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Long.
Measurement from Mr. Messenger, if we make a concerted, effort to use after we get the line drawn from Mr. Messenger, and they know exactly what part is in the city, can we make a concerted effort on the city part and use our machine, that hot tar machine that we have, to go and fix this issue?
I will gladly send Public Works on that part again, because they've been over there before, to take a look. But we really don't need to, and I appreciate what you just said, Mr. Locke. We don't want to cross the line where it's pairs, and we've done something on pairs, because there are a lot of things that could happen, like going across the right.
Okay. I'm sorry, I just wanna ask this right quick before I go, please. As the mayor, is it any way that you can get in touch with Jeff Messenger, because he told me May 1st, I called him, I called you, I called everybody to find out what's going on, so I will know. When I called him May 1st, and it was in the afternoon, he might have spoke with her at first and told her that he didn't have it. But when I called him May 1st, his exact words was that he found out what part of the road belongs to who. And he could not tell me because I was not a member. I just need to know if you can find out what part of the road belongs to who. One other thing I want to ask, if you all cannot do it, is funds the problem? Is funds the problem?
Well, Ms. April, I tell you what, I'll contact Jeff and I'll let you know.
I've already texted him. He hasn't responded, but I just texted him.
Thank you, I pray y'all have a blessed night.
Ms. Here before you leave, that's my district. I know one side of the street is my district, and I was out there earlier during the campaign time, and Mr. Doug Mitchell verified that one side, the east side of Martin Luther King, belongs to the city of Bastrop. Everyone on the east side of Martin Luther King, where you're speaking, where you live, is the city of Bastrop. Now, I guess we got this problem, who fixed the road? Martin Luther King, historical street name. And I know we're doing some street work as we speak throughout our community, because I'm running on every road. I would like to ask the mayor, if it's any way possible, that we go back and see, can we add that street to the list while the workers are here? I don't know how much cost it's gonna be, everything costs. You know, we have some streets we're working on, and we could be maybe we can get some other agency even help us fix this street, because money do count.
Yes.
And maybe, because you've been so consistent with this, and I can appreciate consistency. And see that, because we know one side of the street belongs to us, no doubt about it. I don't care who comes or what. The gentleman that does the map already verified that. We need to maybe take some effort, Mayor, to Ms. Goldman doing effort to help you as well. And once we hear from Jeff, let's move on fixing that street, because it is damaging to we got New Morning, New Jerusalem Church there. We got a lot of people that go back and forth up and down that street. It's a moving street. We got our school board meeting out here stuff. That street should not be in the condition it is. That's right. On behalf of the city, other police bureau, we have to join. I mean, it's something got to be done. And I appreciate your consistent, and Ms. Golden's working diligently with Jeff. As soon as we find out something, we'll bring it back. Once somebody will notify you. I don't want you to go home and feel that we're not concerned about your street, okay?
Yes, sir.
Because I travel the street as well.
Thank you.
But I go around.
Thank you.
We're gonna try to do the best we can, the mayor and all of us collected together to get something done about this street.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate y'all. Once again, I pray y'all have a blessed night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes.
Where does that take us?
You're on H.
Okay, Ms. Cindy Hendricks, Christmas lighting maintenance.
Do I need to state my name again? Cindy Hendricks. I'm representing 2K, Keep Morehouse Beautiful, and I know that most everybody in this room knows about our Christmas decorations that we put up, and also our Mardi Gras decorations that we put up. Everything that you see in lighting has been donated, or has been done by grants. The issue that we have is we want to go forward and maybe do some other things, but we just need a little bit of money, hopefully from y'all, and also I'm going to ask the police jury that you just set it aside for maintenance. And what maintenance would be is if we need to buy an extra string of lights, that is to replace something that has been burnt out, not new, or either just light bulbs. We just need to know if y'all would give us $1,500 in your budget just for maintenance. We do not mean for you to write us a check. It means that we would come up here and say, this has happened and we need some money, and just kind of keep it that way. So it's not like you're going to write us a check and we're going to stick it in our checkbook. We just want to know if time comes, if there would be available funds to maybe help us maintain some of the things that we've done here in the community.
Thank you.
Can I just say one more thing? I want to thank the fire department for always helping us. They do a wonderful job. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have all this. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Jay.
I'm sorry, I did have one question. Ms. I asked one question about the $1,500. I'm understanding you're asking us to set up a reserve account, not
Not actually give us a check,
but a reserve
but a reserve account.
Okay.
So that if we needed something, say, like for instance, everything has gone up, and I will have to turn to Vicki if y'all don't mind, and let me ask her if she remembers how much, just like a set of lights that whenever they go out, we have to re-screw. Do you remember how much those are? The whole reel has gone from $400 if we had to buy 250. And these all went, just so you know, all the parapets, the businesses paid for those. And then some of the first lights we had, they didn't work right. So they went back and we helped, and then we got donations from the agriculture segment of our community. And that's where we put all those lights. And we have to go in, and the firemen help do that. Like if some of the lights are out on the parapet, we have to buy those lights to put in so they're still up on the parapets. We've also had, it works by solar, so they're not, they come on at a certain time when the sun goes down, and then they go off. So we've had to replace that, whatever that's called. Yeah, but it's a solar thing that we have to replace because it does go out.
Okay, and up on this, if we decide to set this $1,500 reserve account up, you'll be able to request it at your
As needed.
As needed.
Right.
Okay, that's what you want, as of the period of 23 and 24 budget.
Right.
Upcoming budget.
Correct.
We thank you, Ms. I want to make sure I understand.
Any other questions?
No. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, item I, liquor license, Chief Reed.
Mayor and council members, I just have one tonight. I recommend the following establishment for liquor license for 2023. It's going to be Dollar General, 1501 North Washington Street, Class A license.
Okay. It meets the requirements, Chief Reed.
Yes, ma'am.
You heard the presentation, and now Chief Reed, I'll entertain a motion. Properly moved by Mr. J. Green.
Second.
And second by, is it Mr. Locke? Mr. D. Green. Second by Mr. Locke. Any questions? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're back to, expanding the agenda to consider Ms. Carpenter's May Madness 3-year request. So. We gotta have public comments on the expanded agenda. Any public comments?
So what I think we should do is, I think we should do it for 2 years.
Well, we didn't vote on the expanded agenda. We had a
Also,
motion to second.
We asked for public comments. I had gotten ahead of myself, Mr. Green. Okay, there were no public comments as it relates to expanding this agenda. Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Ms. Carpenter, was it Ms. Carpenter?
She had to go.
You have to leave?
Here for my madness if you need me.
Okay, you'll stand in for, okay. Come to the microphone, Ms. Carpenter.
I'm Susan Plottings with Morehouse Made Madness. Thank y'all for offering to do this for us. We really think this is a great thing for our city, and we just appreciate you giving us the opportunity here.
Okay. Now, Mr. Green?
I said that let's do it for 2 years, meaning that, we have 2 years left in our term. And then once the new administration comes, we can expand on whoever there at the time.
Okay. So the request here is that we,
We requested for a 3-year.
3 years.
But we'll take what you give us.
Wait, okay, I got lost on 3 years of supporting May Madness. Specifically, what is the request? We're gonna support it. Yeah.
We typically come to you every year and ask for permission to have it in downtown Bastrop.
Okay. Okay.
So instead of doing that every year, we're just asking for 3 years this time, so we don't have to come every year.
Okay, who was that, Mr. D. Green said 2 years?
2 years.
Okay, 2 years. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we extend, May Madness, event for the next 2 years.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any questions? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank y'all very much. We hope to do you proud.
Thank you. Thank you for the job you do to supporting that. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
But you have this meeting and then go to adjourn the other meeting. Cause this extra meeting.
We expanded the agenda
So,
to include, I didn't adjourn the other meeting. I just
I'd like to make a motion to extend the agenda.
yeah,
Okay. We're making a second request. We need to talk about this.
This is,
Okay, we've already expanded the agenda.
and we expand the agenda once again to discuss, I thought Ms. Dover would bring this up, but, I'd like to expand the agenda, request a special meeting according to section 14 of the city charter, the subject matter of annual budget for the year 23 and 24, that we have a meeting on the 14th at 5:30 p.m. That's a Wednesday, coming Wednesday, and that everyone be notified of the special meeting call. I think the secretary said that any member can call a special meeting, and I think I provided Ms. Golden with a copy of my request. I'd like to go on the record that the request has been made and that the meeting be scheduled for the 14th of 2023, or June 14, 2023, at 5:30 p.m. here in the City Hall.
I second.
Mr. Bradford has made a motion to expand the agenda to request a call meeting on the budget. Is it specific?
Just checking.
Okay. Annual budget for the city of Bastrop from June 14th or 15th?
14.
Okay. Ms. Gold, prerequisite of things that have to occur. It has to be posted, has to go to the newspaper. Ms. Gold?
Yes, ma'am, that's it.
Okay.
A special meeting can be called according to section 14 with the 8-hour notice. This is almost a week from today, over a week. I think we got enough time to go to news, maybe publicize whatever we need to do is necessary. Got a notice, and this is about 6 or 7 days notice.
Okay. Now, let's go. Where are we with budget?
We're still working,
We're still working on it.
the numbers.
Okay, so,
I think
But I
this
mean,
is,
if they wanna have a meeting,
and we'll have a meeting, update where we are on this budget. I think this will just, say, provide the council with a copy of the budget, the upcoming, the status of the budget. I know it may not be completed, but the status.
Because we don't want to be.
especially with the new numbers y'all are trying,
Yeah, because we normally get, I'm sorry, we normally get our package like a day or two ahead of time.
Right.
And we don't need to be approving a budget, because there ain't enough time to do our due diligence going through it, so. And that's not the only time we need to meet.
Y'all are talking about some serious money right here to just tonight.
Right, so what we don't.
And we need to look at our revenue, that's the, nobody mentioned where's the revenue coming. We all talked about the expense, but nobody's mentioned revenue. And I didn't bring it up because I just brought that up at the last meeting, so
But when
y'all
you-
knew.
Can you provide us with what you have?
But when you gave us a 5-year projection about,
We just got something today from the state, so we're emailing everybody trying to get last minute, so.
Yeah, we need to
so
talk.
when you did, but you talked about revenues, when you, it was a few meetings ago, I wasn't on the council then, you got up and you talked about, you did a 5-year projection of taxes and you how level off that we
Well,
were.
that was the auditor.
But still, what I'm saying is we was projected for 5 years, that it wasn't gonna be no decline, it was gonna be steady. The tax basis, everything was gonna be steady, based on the budget you had.
No, sir, that was the audit, what we already spent. I'm not a miracle worker. With this economy, I wouldn't even try to do that.
I'll go back and
Okay.
research it then, because I was out there when y'all got up, did a presentation of how much we had, and then y'all did a 5-year snapshot, and you said specifically that for the next 5 years, that the taxes and all that was gonna be level.
Yeah, look back, because that was definitely what the audit was.
But I'm saying, that was said, the audit said that, whoever said it, but it's projected to be the same.
a projection, and that it's always subject to fluctuation. So, we expand the agenda.
I second.
Okay, it was second.
Public comments.
Okay. Did we vote? Ms. Gold?
No, man, we had a motion and a second.
Motion and second. Okay, public comments as it
We gotta vote,
relates.
we gotta vote.
You have to, allow public comment in before you vote. Okay. Are there any public comments?
I will say,
one thing, I'll go to the microphone. On Mr. Bradford's thing, the procedure, once you give it to Miss Sandra, the procedure on that is she would then send it to the police department. The police department would have to serve it on all the members, and then you get a meeting. You don't actually have to vote for one. Once a council member under the charter requests a meeting, a special meeting, they list out the time, they just give it to Miss Sandra, she'll give it to the police, who will then serve it upon the members and it's active. You don't have to expand the agenda.
Okay, well, we appreciate that, that's basic, but I thought she was bringing it up, that's why we brought the motion. And we wanted to change that date that she had.
Correct.
You know,
It does say in the charter 8 hours, but understand it supersedes, it bows to state law. State law and the public meetings law requires a greater time, which is 24 hours. So even though it does state in the charter 8 hours, you have to take into account the state law.
Well, we got 6 or 7 days. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr.
That's what I was gonna
I
clarify for you,
appreciate
Mr. Schreiber.
you.
If you have one again, you can do that, you just get it out for you so you can get it.
Okay, well,
Okay, so, okay, now I think everybody is aware.
well, we thank you for your advice, but we're gonna go ahead, since we got a second in the motion, and vote on it and move forward. Right now, we're gonna thank you for your comment, I guess it was, you can't advise us yet, but we thank you for your comment.
Okay.
But we'll go ahead, do we have a motion?
Wait, Mr. Bradford, wait, Mr. Bradford. Okay, and Mr. Jones spoke as, spoke on the citizen's comment, which is quite appropriate. Okay, to honor your request, we got a motion, a second, we had public comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. At this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I make that motion.
Second.
It's properly moved by Ms. Tappan and second by Mr. Bradford. This meeting is adjourned.